It's election day. Is it pointless to vote on the election if you're from California and you know it's gonna go blue anyways? The workers, they're wearing blue. They're not asking for a voter ID. Just I asked them, "Are you sure you want to see my ID?" So they didn't. So it seemed like you could have voted for anybody. So that was kind of interesting. And let's be honest, there's radical people from both sides. There's crazy left people and there's crazy right people. Even though the state was gonna go blue, I'm not a big fan of laying down and just it is what it is and there's nothing that we could do about it. I think you still should have voted even if you're in California and you are a Republican. Number one, the popular vote. Number two, there's a lot of things that I didn't even know that was on the ballot that was at stake. There's a lot of different props concerning schools, whatever county that you're from, the mayors and senators and actual district attorney judges. So I do want Trump to win the presidential election. See, the problem with being a Trump supporter, especially in California, people just look at you crazy, like you're a coon, that you don't support women. That's what I mean when there's super radical people on the left side and there's super radical people in the right side. In history where people are super will judge judge your whole life based on who you vote for. The thing that's just pretty annoying to me is that every time you talk to a Harris supporter, the number one selling point, the number one reason why they even say they vote for Harris, every single conversation that I've talked to, the main reason that people are even thinking about voting for Harris is for reproduction rights and abortion. That's like the main selling point. And it's kind of annoying because they just automatically assume that if Trump is president, that women are just gonna be like the Taliban. No freedom, they can't do anything, and they're just tied down there like slaves, which is crazy. That's what I mean. They're radical. It's just too extreme. It's nothing. It's not a balance of, it's either extreme or not. Go big or go home. Women are still going to be able to get abortions. Nothing's going to be taken from women. They still have the same amount of rights as men in this country. Trump or Harris, I just think people use that as a selling point just to get people to just to influence them to vote for Harris. And if you're like me, I think you're tired of all these Jubilee videos and people, they're smart people. Look, as much as they're radical people on the right and the left, you have your strong players from the right and the left. Look, we've seen Charlie Kirk destroy people. We've seen other people from the Daily Wire destroy people. Candace Owens got some good talking points. On the left side, you have these young liberal TikTok kids that they're actually making a lot of these MAGA people look dumb. But it's because generally people are not researching anything. I know a lot of people, a lot of black people on Instagram, they follow the shade room, completely biased. They think Harris is the savior, and they're very eager to get the first black woman president in the building. And I remember back in 2020 when people were saying, Uncle Joe's gonna save us, and he's for black people, even despite saying, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. His first executive order was signing a bill that protected Asian people, Asians, stop Asian hate, which is perfectly fine, I'm cool with it. But from the minute Biden took office, black people started questioning, okay, look out for us, like you promised all these things. I even have a cousin that came up to me and said, are you voting for Harris? I really think you should vote for Harris because we need black people in there. Harris was in the fraternity 20 years ago. So she's for us. These are people who just get gassed up from seeing headlines on Shade Room, on BET, different stuff, but they never take the time to look at the other side. Even despite voting for Trump, I'm able to watch other political commentators, streamers, podcasts. I like getting the perspective from both sides. He's no saint. It's not like he's the most perfect guy. I just think considering all issues and policies, Trump was slightly, I slightly favor voting for him. No, and that does not make me a coon. That does not make me a sellout. That's just being a free thinker and thought leader. Back in 2012, you don't know how many people have told me you need to vote for Obama because he's black. I refuse to fall in that trap. I don't think you should vote because they're black, because they're white or nothing like that. I just think it's ridiculous, and they weren't gonna get me like that. I think everyone should just research multiple different sources depending on the policy. They'll type something. What does Trump think about immigration? What does Trump think about economics? How will Biden handle? What is Biden's foreign policy against North Korea, Iran, all this stuff? And you start going down this rabbit hole and learning about nuclear deals. If you honestly research everything, if you come at it with objective lens and not with any biasness and listening to anyone in your ear, you will genuinely, it is a fact that both sides are not perfect. I don't even care if people sway left. I just think people need to do a lot more to research things that are important to them. I honestly just think Trump has better foreign policy. It seemed like he had a better strategy, and though rocky at times with North Korea with the whole Rocket Man rhetoric, he still was the only president to shake hands with them, and other world leaders actually respected him. Nobody said they liked him, but it seemed like they respect Trump. They knew he was serious. He put his foot on other people's necks. That helped me believe that we are a safer country under Trump. That's just one of the many examples. But I'm not saying Harris is a bad person or anyone, but we don't know how she would act with these countries. But we do know she warned Iran, you better not do this. Iran did it. So I just think she would be a weak world leader. She was in charge of running the border, and it came out of her own mouth that there is a problem at the border. So she was completely incompetent, because we do have a border problem. The system is jacked up. And for economic reasons, I think a lot of people were striving under Trump administration. A lot of new black entrepreneurs in general. Bro's not racist. He gave money to a lot of historical black colleges and was friends with a lot of these black people. Nothing's gonna happen to the women. I just think that's extreme rhetoric that the left is using to reel up the women's vote, the black people's vote, and all that. So ultimately, I just don't think there was strong enough selling points for the Democrats. There's way more selling points that sold me on the Republican side. I just think people are just too extreme with it. Regardless of who's president, winners are gonna win regardless. Adapt and overcome. Work hard to be successful. Take care of your family and loved ones. When Biden got elected, I said to myself, the W in all this is that people are gonna see that Biden is not gonna fix all your problems. And, that worked. People were, a lot of people turned on Joe Biden. They don't think he did a good job. And this is why a lot of people are turning back to Trump. And for goodness sake, I think in general, we have to stop listening to celebrities and their takes. These millionaires, I'm talking on both sides too. The DNC, RNC, where they had all those celebrities on stage talking about who we should vote for. We should stop listening to celebrities in general. The people I value most when it comes to opinions or behaviors and attitudes towards the election season is, the everyday heroes, our community leaders, whether it's police officers, firefighters, teachers. I care heavily about what happens in schools in our counties as well. That's why a lot of people should focus on the props, read into the props of what you vote for. A lot of the funding that they use. I know a lot of people are upset at California. We do have so much taxes. And to be honest with you, I vote for lots of props in the past that promise that they'll fix our roads. But the roads are still crazy. I still hit a ditch, still had costly repairs to my car. A lot of these roads, they take a long time. They make people late for work. There's a lot of traffic. And honestly, they're still jacked up. It's just a few things to be mindful of, but I do think you should still vote, even if you are in a heavily blue state. But like I said, I don't even care who you vote for. You shouldn't even care who I vote for. There's radical, crazy people in the right and the left, both sides. But I'm just telling you why a little bit. I didn't go in much detail why I slightly leaned into Trump, better selling points for me. So regardless of who wins, winners win. Yeah, just take care of yourself and work hard.